Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. So in this video we are going to take a look at the Realm of the Gods Extreme Super Battle Road stage. So this is probably one of the harder Extreme Super Battle Road stages, and the reason for this is basically just due to the fact that there are so many enemies that any of them can catch you out with a super attack at any given time. And that generally the Realm of the Gods units have really good evasion and super solid defense, but they can take a little bit to build that up. So if they get caught out by a super attack early on, they can tend to take some damage. Also, when you have multiple enemies and multiple enemy types, that does just generally put you at risk, because you have a very high chance of taking a type disadvantage super, which is also a problem. In general, when looking at this stage, one of the ways to take on this stage, and I think one of the best ways to take on this stage, is to focus on the offense. Generally you want to try and push for the best offensive decisions. That's really what's going to make you be able to kind of push out the fight as quickly as possible. If you do not focus on the offense, you probably will just be caught out damage wise, because there are so many enemies, because they can do so much damage to you. You probably are going to come off second best if you try to tank it out. Offense looks like the best defense, as they say in these situations. For this team build that we have here, we are going to rock the physical Easy A Vegeta Blue. He's going to be alongside the Easy Aid AGL Goku Blue, who's going to act as a pairing partner for him, and also just provide him with some buffs from his super attack, of course. Then we have the Topo, who's going to be a floating support and sometimes part-time tank when his passive is activated, which will be a lot, because we're going to be under 70% health quite a bit. And then in the other rotation we have a friend UI Goku alongside my own Int Goku, and then we have the physical Beerus floating alongside the Vardos. In terms of team builds for Realm of the Gods, there are actually quite a few that you can run. You could go for a more Goku Black and Zamasu orientated build. You could bring in some more blue fusions. You could definitely drop a couple of these units for some other ones. You could bring in the UI Goku, the Int UI Goku as your lead. You could also run a more Beerus orientated lineup with things like the Strength Beerus and Whis. Alongside the Whis. If you have Strength Whis, he's one of the best units for this stage. You can run the Strength Whis and Physical Beerus as well. Double Physical Beerus leads will work pretty well. The only problem with Beerus is that he has to get hit first, and if you don't get crits, you can really struggle to dish out damage in this stage. That's why I prefer having the Physical Vegeta Blue and the Int God Goku, as although especially the 55% Int God Goku, even though he's not maybe linked up the best with the UI Goku, he does dish out decent damage purely through the fact that he has a high chance to crit. So that's going to be a very important factor to place in here. One thing I will say about this stage is that you do have to take some risks. At least I did in both of my attempts. So this is the second attempt that I had for the Realm of the Gods. I did it before, and then I forgot to film it, which obviously was to my despair. But this is the exact same team. The only difference is we have a different UI Goku. In the first time when I did it, I had a 79% UI Goku, I believe. And I think this one is rainbowed. Not entirely certain. We'll take a look when we pull up the details of the units next. But overall, beyond that, the run was pretty successful. Pretty much followed the same route. You kind of want to burst through the first two stages as quickly as possible and save your Dokkan attack for the third stage. Keeping your Dokkan attack for the third stage is really going to be a key to success on this Realm of the Gods SPR, I believe. The reason being is the third stage is not a great stage at all. There's 4 enemies, obviously as many as the other stages, and they just hit very hard. They have some units there that can hit especially hard looking at units like the Strength TN, who pose really big threats to our lineup because of the fact that we have a lot of physical units. Yamcha also likes to super attack quite a bit, and he can threaten the AGL units, so getting that Dokkan attack really helps in kind of cutting down numbers really quickly, dishing out damage and allowing us to pop double items and try and finish it in 2 turns. That's generally the strategy I go for, and it's worked both runs that I've done. I did fail 2 or 3 times as well, so currently it's like a 50-50 kind of stage, and that's how it feels. You do have to rely a bit more on RNG. I found myself relying a bit more on units getting the dodge than I did in previous stages. I relied a bit more on units getting the crit than I did in the previous stages, and you have to kind of somewhat take that gamble to clear this stage. I'm not going to say it's entirely a gamble, because it's not. Well constructed teams like my own and like many others will have a good shot at finishing it. I do believe the Zamasu Goku Black teams actually will be pretty good for this stage. I do think what you need is you will need probably to level link them up quite a bit, maybe even to level link 10. The reason being is the initial damage phase for the first 2 turns is where your damage needs to be really high, because you effectively need to clear out 1 or 2 of the enemies by the, at least the 3rd or 4th turn for you to have a chance at finishing out this SBR. So I believe having them really high level linked will definitely affect the efficiency of that team, but I think it's very possible with them to do so. I just think you will, if it's majority Zamasu and Goku Black units, you will need to get that Big Bad Bosses link up, because you will need to dish out some real damage. Fortunately, those units do specialize in dishing out some really good damage. They also have some very good debuffs against superclass enemies, which is relatively sound. So yeah, definitely quite a good option. But yeah, you're definitely going to need to link level the Goku Black Zamasu hybrid team a lot more than you probably need to do for the super base team that we have right here, at least from what I'm speculating. So that is definitely a possibility of a team build. But other than that, I think the main thing you do want to focus on, like I said, is just offense. I think offense is really going to help. It's going to be your number one focus. It's going to be where your team comes out on top. Right now, though, in this current stage, essentially we're just trying to get rid of the Master Mutaido after we get rid of Roshi and Grandpa Gohan. The reason we want to get rid of the Grandpa Gohan first is obviously his his strength advantage is great against a lot of our physical units. Similarly with Roshi, we're trying to get rid of the Roshi so that he can't hit MUI Goku with a one-source super attack and give us too many problems. So yeah, we definitely are focusing in on that quite a bit. We're going to activate a Princess Snake here, and then this is where I mean gambling. Essentially, you do need to gamble this turn. A Princess Snake will not be enough if you catch a type disadvantage super attack, but you do need to basically gamble. You need to essentially hope that you get the dodges at the right times, because that's what's going to save this run. And you can see we're being careful now about the orbs we get, trying to conserve them to not get the Dokkan attack in this round, because we're very close to removing Roshi from the field, and we'll probably be close to finishing off Master Mutaido, so we really don't want to waste the Dokkan attack on that single Crane Hermit at the back there. But beyond that, everything seems to be going relatively smoothly. Like I said, it's okay to use a bit more items, because the idea here is to burst the final stage down in 2 rounds with your Dokkan attack, and essentially just removing any of the lower enemies with the second turn, and then obviously pushing on from there as best you can. But it is basically the strategy, so it is something you just want to keep in mind, that it's okay to pop an extra item rather than you would. As long as you're getting the Dokkan attack in the 3rd round, that's going to prevent you from spending too long in that stage, because a Dokkan attack with a strong unit will generally do quite a substantial amount of damage, especially if they have crit or dupes or anything. It will be a super solid amount of damage that they're going to do. Again here, we're just kind of essentially gambling a little bit, just to try and prevent us using items, because items are really like sacred at this point, and we need some of them to take on the next stage. And we're also trying to avoid taking the Dokkan attack here, so we're going to be super careful about the amount of orbs we get. We do manage to clear out Roshi and Master Mutaido, which leaves just the Crane Hermit, so it's realistically only dodging like one attack, because he only really attacks once per turn. I would have loved Toppo to get double crits here and finish him off, but hey, we just gotta kind of live with it. But we'll be okay. We just need one dodge essentially to survive the round, or at least not to get super attacked. As long as we're not super attacked, we won't take 400k health in a single turn, and we should be alright to take it on to the next stage. But I think UI Goku will finish him off here anyway. UI Goku, I mean, very impressive unit. I don't have him, but he has always been a very impressive unit to me. But this SBR really cemented just how impressive he is as an LR. That defensive ability, the ability to dodge, and the attack stats are very good, considering the team lineup we're running, his synergy and everything like that. So overall, very, very nice. Yeah. But basically we're going to pop double items here. The reason being is we're actually going to avoid getting the Dokkan attack with either the Vegeta or the Blue Goku. And the reason this is simply just because their attack stats I don't think will be impressive enough to wipe out a lot of these units. Because Vegeta kind of specializes in firing off multiple super attacks, and he has a very good attack stat, similarly with Goku, who can hit 3 million at 55%. Very, very impressive attack stats, but we really just want to try and control that level of damage that we're going to get and really just maximize it. So we've got a couple red orbs set up for next turn, set up so that we can take on the Dokkan attack with the UI Goku, obviously. And yeah, hopefully that will clear out the enemies, and we will be able to claim the victory. But the Blue Vegeta, he is going to still dish out some really good damage. He also will get his additional attacks, which can proc his super attacks, and we're going to take multiple supers here. So this is what I mean by, look, you can even pop 2 items on this stage, and you're still at a risk of dying. Just because of multiple super attacks. We didn't even take a type disadvantage super attack there. If we take still a type disadvantage super attack, even after popping 2 items, we will be out of the stage. And we have put a very good defensive unit, a unit that specializes in taking attacks, generally speaking. But because he got super attacked before he could fire off his own, and because 2 of them happened in a row, we basically almost died. So yeah, just to clarify the difficulty of this stage in terms of the damage that the enemies do. But fortunately we're gonna have essentially 3 items activated here, because we have the Whis, we have the Mice, and we have the Android 8 defense now, so we're not at too much of a risk of dying here. We are going to get the Int Goku to target the Tien, because if anyone's going to die this round, I want Tien to die. The reason is because he has very broad shoulders that make me feel emasculated, and also Tien is just basically the biggest threat to the rest of our team. He does the most damage, and he attacks the most times, and he has type advantage, so we really want to clear him out as quickly as possible. And we hopefully are going to do that with a very impressive attack stat from Goku, alongside some ki that he got from evading some attacks. We're very fortunate as well that he evaded enough attacks to get his 18 ki, which obviously is, pretty good, really helpful to the Dokkan attack and the damage in general. And yeah, there we go. So he managed to clear out most of the enemies here. Goku is hopefully going to crit and get rid of Tien for us, or get very close to. getting rid of Tien. You can see, here we go. So yep, but we have 3 items activated now, and Goku supered before, so he won't take, I mean, the fact that he still took 20k, you know, after all those items and is super attacking and, you know, having Topper on the rotation, says enough really as is. Even if we get super attacked here, we shouldn't die. We still have the defense from the previous turn's Android 8, so we should be okay. We would have died if we'd been super attacked by Tien, but he had super attacked previous turn, so we should be fine. And yeah, that's going to be the win. So yeah, pretty hard, pretty tough. Let me know how you guys are going with it, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, cheers, stay safe, and bye!